All right, yes, in this video, I want to address something that I saw online. Yes, I read an article that somebody, posted. The person was responding to this popular pastor Ebed Damina. I know by now you already know who Ebed Damina is. He's a Christocentric preacher. Yes, the Christocentric preacher. These are the kind of preachers that everything is about Jesus, everything is about Christ. In the Bible, they don't even, from Genesis to Revelation, yes, we know it's about Jesus, how God revealed himself in Christ Jesus. But it is not the way that it is often presented. They were there before, they were the during, and they were the after. But some of these Christocentric messengers or preachers, the way they preach it is that they preach that everything, both Genesis, Revelation, everything is the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, even though they are revealing Christ, but it has to do with the before the revelation of Christ, the manifestation of Christ, the during the manifestation, and the after. But people like Ebed, they don't do it like that. They preach it that all of them, are the same and together. So, but it's not like that. Now, in this particular article that I read, the person was responding to him on a very serious issue, and that is what I want to address. What is that issue? Ebed, if you have listened to him, he does not, he want to defend the God of the Old Testament as against the God of the New Testament. We know it is the same God. You understand? But, like I said, acknowledging the process is very, very important. But he doesn't want to acknowledge the process. So he is now forced to deny some things in the Old Testament so that he will make the Old Testament God to look as good as the New Testament God. Like I said, the Old Testament God and the New Testament God, they are the same thing, the same person. Okay, they are the same God. It's the same God. Alright, it's the same God, but they are the process. Okay, it is in New Testament that we have the fullness of the revelation of God. Okay, it is in the New Testament. So in the Old Testament, we don't have the fullness of the revelation of God. So in this video, or in that article that the person was responding to Ebed Damina's video, where he was claiming some things in the Old Testament did not happen, so that he can make God look good. Because there are many people, maybe Muslims and other believers, other faiths, that says that the God of Christians is a wicked God. Okay, so Ebed Damina, in defending that the God of Christians is not a wicked God, is now denying that God did not send down fire when Elijah prayed. Elijah prayed fire. Elijah prayed fire on people. He's also denying that God did not kill the firstborn of Egypt, that it was something else that died. It's not the first son. So all this thing that he's doing is to make God look good. There are some places where God will command the Israelites to go and kill the entire village or entire country. So he's trying to explain it that it was not God. And it is understandable, okay? Because literally, when you look at it, you now ask yourself, is the God of Old Testament a wicked God? Is he a wicked God? So, how I started this video, I told you that is a progression in the revelation of God. That is the faith of Christianity. That is our faith as Christians. It's not static. The fullness of God is not in the Old Testament. The fullness of God is when you come from Old Testament into the New Testament. That is where you see the fullness of God. Because if you only look at the New Testament and you are like Ebed Damina that is preaching only the love of Christ, only the grace of God, the love of God, you will have issue in defending the character of God in the Old Testament. Why? Because you only know God in Christ. You didn't follow through before the manifestation, the revelation of Christ. You didn't follow through. Because if you follow through from the Old Testament, you will see God as a judge. You will see God as a king. You will have seen the anger of God in the Old Testament. So that in the New Testament, you'll be able to appreciate the grace, the love, and the kindness of God. Okay, so the question that this video seeks to address is God a wicked God? Especially the God of the Old Testament. Is he a wicked God? Now, the answer that I will give to you, and I want you to watch this video till the end, is both yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no is because I don't know your definition of wickedness. Yes. So when you ask, is God of Old Testament a wicked God? The answer is yes and no, based on the fact that I don't know your own definition of wickedness. Because the God that killed all the firstborn of Egypt, is he not wicked? The God that commanded Israel to kill all the Amalekites, is he not wicked? So I will explain what happened. Then I will now ask you what's your definition of wickedness. Let us know if God is wicked from your own definition of wickedness. Now, let me put it this way. Okay, let me put it this way. Let us use a judge for an example. Maybe one of these Boko Haram that have killed people in Benue, kill people in Plateau. One of these terrorists is arrested and taken to court. And according to the law in this country, Nigeria, let's say that the law prescribes that this terrorist, if he's convicted, there are three options: either life imprisonment, death by hanging, and death by firing squad. Okay, these are three options by law. And then the judge, haven't seen what this terrorist committed. The judge became angry, and out of anger, he now said that I sentence you to death by firing squad. Okay? And then somebody come out and say this judge is a wicked judge. Since there is option for life imprisonment, why didn't you choose life imprisonment? So my question to you is, this judge that choose that option, there are three options: life imprisonment, death by hanging, and death by firing squad. And the judge, out of anger, said death by firing squad. Is he a wicked judge? He is not a wicked judge. He is not a wicked judge. You can say he is an angry judge. Yes, he is an angry judge. We can see the anger. So all those things that you see in the Old Testament is because you don't know that God is a judge, and you don't know God is a king, and you don't know the legitimacy that he has over us, that he created to be a judge and to be a king. He doesn't need us to make him a judge. He doesn't need us to make him a king. It is for you to realize that God is a judge. And in his decree, he has decreed that every soul that sinners shall die. And every human being is a sinner. We deserve to die like Sodom and Gomorrah. We deserve to die like the Amalekites. We deserve to die like the firstborn of the Egyptians. If not for the same God who came in the form of a human being as Jesus Christ and died on the cross to redeem me and you, to redeem. The reason why we are not seeing that kind of judgment today is because Christ has paid the price. He has paid the price. But the destruction is still around you if you don't believe and accept the price that Christ has paid. Do you understand? So God is not a wicked God as you think, but he can be angry God. He can be an angry judge. He can be an angry king. And he can make pronouncement, and that pronouncement will come to pass. So it is for you to accept the sacrifice that Jesus has done on the cross of Calvary. If not, you will perish like those people in the Old Testament. Because the difference is that we are now in the era where we can accept grace.